Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, advocates have rallied to call for the immediate closure of Ashley Youth Detention Centre following a week of harrowing evidence at the State's Commission of Inquiry. Victims, survivors of child sexual abuse were among those using their voice, pleading with the government to intervene.
Horrific accounts of violence emerging from inside the walls of Ashley. A united front stand in Parliament Square with a hope to tear it down.
We're calling for the immediate closure of Ashley Youth Detention Centre, and it's time to just say, look, this is not okay. It is not safe. Get the kids out.
Written into the pavement, their message is clear.
Some of the stories I've heard come out have just been absolutely heartbreaking. I can't sit here and let our Premier leave this centre open anymore.
While the Premier expressed his empathy, it's unclear whether the doors could shut sooner than the 2024 target.
I'm listening. I hear you, understand why you would want the centre closed as soon as possible.
Lawyer Sebastian Buscemi has joined the chorus of voices after years of representing clients who've experienced life in the centre.
We're talking about people here who are really vulnerable, and I think it's important that people who have the opportunity to advocate for them do.
With the majority of children on remand and not serving a detention sentence, advocates believe there's no reason why action can't be taken immediately.
We have one child, only one, on a youth detention order. There is no excuse not to find alternate accommodation for that child.
The Commission of Inquiry hearings return to Hobart on September 7. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Environmentalists have taken to the water on the Tasman Peninsula, calling for an end to offshore fish farming. Dozens paddling out to fish pens near Stewart's Bay, claiming they are polluting local waters. The action prompting a fiery defence of the industry from the Premier.
Taking to the water to send a message to those who regulate it. This flotilla venturing into Stewart's Bay with a simple message for the state government.
It shouldn't be a place to have a battery chicken farm of the sea.
Community members, including a few of the furry kind, targeting tassel salmon pens, using canoes, boats and surfboards. It was the latest action aiming to reel the industry onto land.
This shouldn't be just a sewage dumping ground for fish farms. It should be the delightful place for swimmers, fishers, beach walkers.
On shore, environmentalists also made their point clear.
Come on, Jeremy Rockcliffe. Get Tassal out of Long Bay.
Get out of Long Bay. Get out of our seas and onto land. And if you won't, get the hell out of Tasmania.
Not everyone is on board. The Premier defending the industry and its environmental record.
We've made enormous improvements around regulation and independent oversight.
In a rare moment of anger, he also blasted the Bob Brown Foundation.
The Bob Brown Foundation would be happy if no one had a job. Where in the hell do they think they're going to get funding for the essential services such as health, education and housing from if we shut down every damn industry in Tasmania?
Today's action was in the wake of looming changes to protest laws. Organisers say locals are rising up because they feel ignored.
To make people pay attention to these issues when it simply falls on deaf ears with governments and corporations.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
We have some breaking news now, and emergency services are at the scene of a serious car crash south of Hobart. Police say the two-vehicle collision occurred on South Arm Road at Sanford near the Clifton Beach turnoff, with injuries being reported. The area is expected to be closed for some time while the scene is being cleared. Traffic is being diverted down Rifle Range Road. The hardship of Tasmanians trying to navigate the rental market has again been laid bare in new data from the Tenants' Union. Regional areas were among the worst hit, with statewide median rents spiking by 10% over the last year, contributing to a growing social housing waiting list.
The wait list is still hovering around 4,500 families, which is far too high, and the average time to be housed is right back up to about 89 to 90 weeks.
Hobart's Eastern Shore are also facing a 13% increase for 3-bedroom properties as the cost of living bears down on households. AgFest organisers have thanked punters for their patience as the event wraps up for another year. 40,000 people walking through the gates despite rain causing chaos in the car park, forcing entry numbers to be capped late yesterday.
Learning the skills here to help them navigate the car park. The committee making the decision to cap ticket sales late yesterday afternoon.
We listened to our patrons over the last 2 to 3 days of the condition of the car parks, and from safety we just thought it'd be beneficial for today's event to cap the numbers.
20,000 still coming through the gates. Organisers impressed with the support.
We're absolutely stoked here at Rural Youth. It's fantastic. I know, speaking to a lot of our exhibitors, they're very happy too. So it's been a really great event and certainly backing up into May next year.
Tickets to AgFest suddenly the hottest in town, on sale for $175 each.
Yeah, it's quite nice to see that tickets could be worth that, but we certainly don't like that kind of behaviour. But anyway.
The government launching the new TasAlerts website at the event.
And it's important that in an emergency we encourage and point to information for Tasmanians to know what to do. And that's the key message today, the new TasAlert website, know what to do in an emergency.
The Tasmania Fire Service website effectively merging and will support those through natural disaster recovery as well. The one-stop shop expected to go live over the next week. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government has opened expressions of interest for the position of Electoral Commissioner. The role involves the administration of electoral systems in Tasmania. Those who have served as an MP or a part of a registered political party are ineligible for the role. Applications close on September 16. The state government still doesn't know when the AFL will make its announcement on Tasmania's 19th licence. The AFL plan to announce the result by the end of August.
We're now at the 26th of August. They've only got 5 days to meet that deadline. If they're not going to give us a decision by the 31st of August, we'd like a firm date when a decision is going to be made.
The Premier has spoken to AFL CEO Gil McLachlan twice in the past week. Thousands of motoring enthusiasts are expected to flood Longford next year as the town celebrates a time 7 world champions raced through the town. The Longford Grand Prix Expo launched today with 2,000 cars expected to attend.
Getting revved up to go back to the 60s. An event highlighting Longford's motoring history making its first pit stop. Launched today at Hadspen ahead of the inaugural Longford Grand Prix Expo.
Longford motor racing was something that just came out of nowhere. We'd never seen cars like that. They were spaceships and rockets, and they flew around the place.
Memories flooding back for Neil Kearney, who says the Longford Grand Prix is the biggest sporting event to happen to the state.
You could get too close to the action in the Longford days. There was only a row of hay bales that separated you from where the cars went.
The event hoping to attract 20,000 visitors to the town over 2 days.
This expo will bring back the excitement of the old days, the 1950s, 1960s. And I've had lots of local folk talk to me about it, about when they were kids or even not so young, where they waited to watch the races in the main street of Longford and the crowds were 4 deep.
At its peak, 40,000 visitors attended the Longford Grand Prix, and now it's hoped its spirit returns in March when the town celebrates its rich automotive history.
I think Australia itself is deserved of such an event.
In his 25-year motoring history, the organiser had never heard of Longford until accidentally driving through the town one day. Now he's at the heart of the celebrations.
I spoke to a few people, and what we determined was anyone baby boomer and up knew of Longford. Everyone baby boomer down never heard of Longford. And I thought that was a bit of a travesty. So this, I suppose, is an attempt to revitalise and rebirth that.
The state government chipping in $450,000 to see if the event will be well supported.
Hopefully we can build it to be something even bigger than that, but $450,000 just for next year's event, and the commitment is that we'll then sit down after that, go through the results and make a decision on future investment from there.
Buckling up to the event's March finish line. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
The TSL will crown its most outstanding player tonight with the Alastair Lynch Medal ceremony taking place in Hobart. Reporter John Hunt joins us. John, a few of the competition stars are expected to poll well.
They are, Louise, after 18 games over 21 rounds. The umpires' votes have been cast and tallied, with all to be revealed in a few hours' time. Lauderdale's Sam Siggins goes in as a favourite, having already claimed the Cripps TSL Player of the Year award. The 2020 medalist, however, will be fighting history, with just 2 players winning both awards in one season. Launceston's Joby Harper and Brodie Palfreyman are likely to be in contention, while Kingborough's Kieran Lovell is also expected to be in the mix. And Louise, the TSL had the weekend off, but there was plenty of local footy finals action today. We'll have all the highlights a little later in sport.
And in the SFL, Lindisfarne will have the chance to complete an unbeaten premiership season after becoming the first side through to this year's grand final. The two Blues defeating Huonville 85-70 in this afternoon's semi-final. Lindisfarne dominated until three-quarter time, but had to hold off a fast-finishing Lions who kicked 6 goals to 3 in the final term. Huonville will face Cygnet in the preliminary final after the Port survived a scare against Dodgers Ferry. The Sharks led at the first 3 changes before a 6-goal fourth quarter helped them squeeze past Dodgers 99-87. Meanwhile, up north, tempers were frayed in the NTFA semi-final between Longford and Rochelle, with a major brawl taking place in the first half. Longford kept their cool, however, defeating Rochelle 80-63 to move through to the NTFA Grand Final. Meanwhile, it was Grand Final day in the ODFA. Minor premiers Bothwell jumped out to a 3-goal lead at half-time against Campbelltown and took control in the second half. The Rabbits running out 89-51 victors.
Jetson from the pocket. What a goal! Unbelievable! How about that?
It's Bothwell's first premiership since 2018. And it's a big weekend for 2 of our NBL 1 sides as the competition moves towards the business end of the season. The Launceston Tornadoes have just taken to the court in their clash against Nuttawading. If they beat the Spectres, the Tawns will move into a preliminary final tomorrow against Ringwood. Meanwhile, the Chargers will face Kilsyth tomorrow at Newtown in a preliminary final. A win for Hobart will see them move through to the grand final.
Good evening. Hobart was the state's top at 17 today, 13 in Launceston and Devonport, Burnie 12, 16 on King and Flinders Island, Grove 15, 14 at Strawn and 11 in Lyawini. Cloudy conditions persisted across parts of the state today with clear skies over the Central Plateau, the southeast and parts of the east coast. A frontal cloud band is lying over southwestern WA with a trough line ahead of it, while some high-level cloud is extending over Queensland and low-level cloud is seen over northern Tasmania and western Victoria. Tomorrow we see a high lying over the Tasman Sea, directing a northerly flow over Tasmania and maintaining a ridge over the mainland, while a cold front has moved over south of the Bight. North to northeasterly winds of 10 to 20 knots, reaching up to 25 in the southeast and 30 about the northwest. And there's a strong wind warning for the far north west coast. Sunny in Hobart tomorrow and 18 and mostly sunny in Richmond and Ouse. A possible shower in Launceston, Devonport 15 and showers in Deloraine. A top of 14 for Burnie, Strawn partly cloudy and 16 in Curry. A shower or 2 is expected in St Helens, Swansea mostly sunny in 18 and sunny in Whitemark. Showers developing about the north on Monday, increasing in the early afternoon and extending to most parts of the state later in the afternoon, while there's a chance of a thunderstorm about the west. Tuesday, showers extending statewide during the early morning, then clearing from the north during the evening, Swansea 15 and 14 in Hobart. And showers about the northwest and far south on Wednesday, fine elsewhere, 15 in Launceston and a top of 16 for St Helens. A shower or 2 in Brisbane tomorrow, Sydney mostly sunny and 21, a top of 20 in Melbourne, partly cloudy in Alice Springs and 30 in Broome. And right now in Hobart, it's clear and 11, cloudy and 11 in Launceston, and same conditions in Devonport. And Lou, it looks like it was a bit of a muddy end to AgFest.
Certainly did. I don't know where all that came from. Thank you for that, Victoria. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Good night.